Ah, Thursday. The day you secretly wish was Friday, but instead is the indicator that says, hey buddy, you're almost there. But beyond being the final boss before your weekend, know that other cool things do happen on Thursdays, like new episodes of the show, The Drews Broadcast. Speaking of The Drews, cue that new, not so poorly drawn intro, and let's do this thing. Ayo, and welcome to another episode of The Drews Broadcast, the same show as DNL, where I bring you dining, robotics, entertainment, world, and sports news, all within the time it takes to open and somehow break your new toy helicopter. Those things never lasted more than 10 minutes for me. As always, let's jump straight into dining news. In dining news, for those of you living in California, you definitely heard it shouted from the rooftops on Monday, from small and big businesses alike, that the state would be canceling its regional stay-at-home orders, which have been in place for over a month now, and would instead be reverting back to the Blueprint for a Safer Economy plan, a plan described by KTLA5 as, quote, California's color-coded, county-by-county framework to reopening the economy during the COVID-19 pandemic. And while I see you jumping up and down at the thought of resuming life normally, slow your roll there, Buster, because there's still stuff I gotta explain to you. According to COVID19California.gov, where the blueprint and other essential COVID-19 statistics are located, it's in the description also. Every county in California is assigned to a tier based on its test positivity and adjusted case rate, with the assigned color tier reflecting the risk level of contracting COVID within that county. And I guess ICU availability was just chucked out the window, so don't ask about that. At the time of recording, 54 counties are in the purple tier, the fourth and most restrictive tier, including LA, San Bernardino, Ventura, San Diego, Santa Barbara, basically all of SoCal and San Joaquin Valley, except Mariposa. They're substantial. So Andrew, be real with me. Are there any positives to be had from this? And are you going to talk about any dining news? Why, yes, of course. With the regional stay-at-home order gone, county officials are the ones calling the smart or dumb shots when it comes to reopening things in your county. And since this is dining news, according to KTLA5, quote, LA, Orange, Riverside, San Bernardino, and Ventura counties have each announced plans to lift the ban on things like outdoor dining and indoor personal care services. They even have a list of businesses which are said to be reopening with restrictions, so go check them out to see what's reopening in LA County. In robotics and tech news, for one day, GameStop lived up to their slogan and finally gave power back to the players, or stockholders, instead of giving them worthless for their worthwhile games. Go ahead, buy a new game at GameStop, play it, and then try to return it the next day. See how much you'll get. Painful childhood memories turned into reoccurring nightmares aside, why did GameStop stock go up so much before flopping? And how do you explain Robinhood to your parents? Yeah, I can't really help you with that second one there, bud. But I can answer your first question as to why GameStop got so popular overnight. Alright, so if you're like me and want it all wrapped up in a nice bow, I refer you to this man at Barstool Sports who goes through the whole story in about 5 minutes. Links in the description. Only things I'm going to take from that video are that this whole situation has to do with a man named Andrew Left, the founder of Citron Research, talking about GameStop stock, attempting to drive its price down, and the Reddit community getting upset. Alright, so what exactly happened? Well, essentially that. According to Reuters, since Left has spoke out in an attempt to drive the price of the stock down, aside from receiving threats, investors have turned out en masse to basically drive the price up by, yeah, that much. Left tells Reuters that basically the only reason people are buying this dying company is because it's just a meme for them. His company, Citron Research, is said to specialize in shorting stocks. He's basically like, this stock is bad, and don't bet on it for these reasons. But since the GameStop incident, I assume, Left told Reuters Citron's fund is off 2.5% since the beginning of January compared to their insane return 2 years ago. If you haven't understood anything that I've been saying up to this point, basically GameStop stock was here, trading for around $20 on December 28th, then cueing the Left and Reddit wing incident. It peaked at $469 exactly a month later, and now goes for around $228 at the time of recording. Oh, and Robinhood's getting hit with a class action lawsuit from the Manhattan Feds, according to the New York Post, because the company restricted users from buying GameStop stocks. In entertainment news, ever wondered what a Tesla pickup truck would look like? Well, here you go. Now you know. There's no story there, I just really wanted to show you that picture since I didn't get a chance to in tech news. But what's going on in entertainment news? Well, if you Google My Pillow Guy, no, you won't find Larry the Mattress Man, sadly, but instead you'll find out that Twitter banned CEO Mike Lindell because he keeps pushing those election fraud theories. His personal account cannot be found, but My Pillow USA is still active at this time. In other entertainment news, if you have friends that just stack curse words on top of each other like an ultimate Lunchable, man, do you need to share this video with them. Because according to CNN, studies over the recent years have shown the benefits of getting those sailor words out, with Professor Timothy J. of the Massachusetts College of Liberal Arts, who studied swearing for more than 40 years, saying the benefits are many. Since the last 2 segments were super long, I'm just going to rush through these 5 benefits really quick. One being it's a sign of intelligence, another pointing to creativity, one steady linking it to someone's honesty, another saying it's a way for us to get out our emotions rather than fighting, and the last benefit saying it boosts pain tolerance. So yes, screaming the F word as loud as you can while your shin hits the coffee table will help you tank the pain. In world news, let's head to Yemen. And while I've briefly gone over the humanitarian crisis there in a separate DNL, I've recently come across this headline from ABC7 New York, which says a Trump administration executive order could be making things worse in the Middle Eastern country. According to the article, as one of his final acts in office, former President Donald Trump designated the Houthi militant group Ansar Allah as a foreign terrorist organization, limiting aid and work in the region despite numerous U.S. officials and aides voicing their disdain for the decision, explaining the move will affect millions going forward. Further reading, according to ABC, the decision by former CIA Director Mike Pompeo essentially criminalized working with any of the Houthi leaders or groups, something aid workers had to do in order to get supplies to the country, and quote, jeopardizes the international flow of aid, food, and medicine that more than 70% of the Yemeni civilians rely on during these times. Yemen's humanitarian crisis is described by the World Health Organization as the world's worst humanitarian crisis. And with the country war-torn, devastated by COVID-19, and said to be on the brink of famine after these sanctions, links for charity and aid to help those in need are in the description below. Wrapping up with sports news, okay, one of the whole reasons I love soccer is because of the uncertainty of it, especially in the Premier League where legit anyone can beat anyone. So in the spirit of celebrating the uncertainty of the game, and my Manchester City being top of the table, let's all laugh at Manchester United, who lost on Wednesday to last place Sheffield United 2-1 at home. Alright, jokes aside, let's switch to the serious gear and talk about two basketball tragedies. The first being the passing of NBA reporter Sekou Smith, a longtime basketball journalist who lost his life to the coronavirus, according to ESPN, on January 26th. Smith is remembered as a positive and passionate basketball reporter, with players and other journalists paying their respects when the news of his passing broke. Smith began his career in Jackson, Mississippi before he moved to cover the Pacers for the Indianapolis Star and later the Hawks for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. He also hosted the NBA Hangtime podcast on NBA.com. And on the topic of tragedies, on Tuesday, thousands of Lakers fans across the nation and the world paid their respects for the fallen stars Kobe Bryant and Gianna Bryant and the 7 others who lost their lives in a helicopter crash 1 year ago while on course towards a game. Kobe's death pretty much sparked the downfall of 2020, but rather than reflect on the tragedy, know that his widowed wife, Vanessa, is advocating to ensure no family or group has to live through a similar helicopter tragedy, fighting for better helicopter safety protocols and technology. On Monday, the LA Times reported Senator Dianne Feinstein and Representative Brad Sherman reintroduced the Kobe Bryant and Gianna Bryant Helicopter Safety Act, a bill that would require Terrain Awareness Warning Systems, or TAWS, on all helicopters that carry 6 or more passengers. As always, thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. I've been your host, Andrew Alonzo. If you enjoyed this weird show, make sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an upload. If you want more Drew's Broadcast news, you can always catch up on last week's headlines in simple satirical ways with the Drew's Broadcast podcast, my SoundCloud in the description below. Follow me on Twitter also at Drew's News Live for tweets and such things, and to know immediately when all my weird content drops. Also, I really hope you guys like the new intro. It's kind of simplistic, but that's what I was going for, because you know what they say, less is more. Oh, one last thing, the PC build video is done and finally up and running, so please go check it out, like it, and yeah, I think that's everything. I have a bunch of eggs I have to turn into an omelet right now for a project, so I'll see y'all next time.